Okay, because of lack of board space, what I've done is I've removed that diagram from the board that's in your text, in that reading I asked you to do, and just put the essentials up on the board. The probability of meeting a fellow cooperator being P. So the probability of meeting a cheater in your next encounter being 1 minus P. The probability of of successfully exploiting either you doing it to another or another doing it to you being some value Q. So the probability of avoiding exploitation being 1 minus Q. And the probability of successfully cooperating being R. And the probability of failing to cooperate being 1 minus R. And we have again here the interval utility scale that all players in this game bring to the game. That is, they would most prefer to cheat and exploit somebody else. In the classic prisoner's dilemma, that's getting the 1 minus 25 for you getting the 1, your opponent getting the minus 25. The second would be to cooperate. In the classic prisoner's dilemma, that would be both of you getting the 2, you getting the 2, and your opponent getting the 2 by coordinating your strategies and not confessing. The third outcome, the third in the utility scale, failure to cheat or cooperate, just the status quo, that would be the minus 10 on the classic prisoner's dilemma. And finally, getting exploited, where you're the one that gets the minus 25, that's your worst. And so we have these ranked on an interval utility scale from your most preferred to your least preferred item. And the question is, how can we as a society construct a culture, a society, in which people will see that it's in their rational self-interest to cooperate rather than exploit? How can we make it such that when we do, the expected utilities of successfully of becoming a cheater, that turns out to be less than the expected utility of becoming a cooperator? The first philosopher ever to confront something like this situation, although he didn't call it the prisoner's dilemma, was Thomas Hobbes in the mid-1600s in his classic work, The Leviathan. Here was Hobbes' idea of how to avoid prisoner's dilemma and encourage people to cooperate. If you can make the probability of Q decrease to almost 0, and you can make the utility of failing to cheat, if you can separate the utility of failing to cheat from that of failing to cooperate and make this value actually become your least preferred outcome, then it will be in your rational self-interest to cooperate. Because the probability of cheating, even though its utility is the highest, is so low, and the punishment for attempting to cheat and failing is so great, that you will see that's in your rational self-interest to cooperate. How did Hobbes propose to change these probabilities and these utilities in this way? By creating the Leviathan state. The all-powerful, all-knowing surveillance state that can ferret out people who are potentially about to cheat and punish them severely for attempting to cheat. The all-powerful, coercive, punishing Leviathan state that uses all means as it's detected to figure out who are the potential cheaters, and makes it such that failing to cheat, attempting to cheat and failing to cheat is so unattractive because of the punishment, the terrible punishment that cheaters have. Then people in that society, in the Leviathan state, will see that it's in their rational self-interest to cooperate. Because the penalty for failing to cheat and the probability of successfully cheating are such that it's almost impossible to cheat, and people will now become cooperators. The big problem, of course, is you have to have this Leviathan state with all of its coercive and surveillance powers and all of its coercive punishment powers. You as a citizen have to give up all, virtually, of your natural liberty to the Leviathan state for this solution to work.